I'm Blake Entwisle. I'm a data analyst and consultant at a company called Aginic. Aginic is a startup data analytics consultancy. So we've just turned 5 and coming up on having about 100 employees. We've got offices in Sydney, Brisbane, Canberra, even though it's just one guy. We did actually get an office there. Darwin and Melbourne, and we're always growing. When I first started, I was the 3rd Sydney employee just over a year ago. We've now going to have our 20th employee in our Sydney office this year, so growing at a really fast rate. Something about kind of my journey of how I got to working for Aginic. I did all my degrees here at Macquarie. I did my undergraduate in advanced physics, and then my research was in biophysics. And while I was doing that, I took every opportunity that was kind of thrown at me. I did a week-long outreach tour around rural New South Wales that I organised, and basically just took physics to classrooms that probably didn't have a chance to interact with universities very much. Griffith being one of them, made the exact same mistake looking for the uni there. As well, I even started my own maths tuition business, managed to get a few tutoring jobs while I was doing my postgrad, and those kind of skills and those interests made me realize that perhaps sitting in front of a lab bench for every hour of every day was not really for me, so I looked at transitioning into industry. Now, a lot of you will probably look for traditional jobs and go, oh, you know, maybe I'm going to continue working at a lab bench, doing R&D in a lab or something like that. I looked a bit further afield and said, well, I've done technical discipline, I've got a little bit of kind of biology knowledge, I've got a bit of physics knowledge, I've done a fair bit of coding on the back of that, and so I actually looked for a data analytics consultancy and wanted somewhere that was kind of young and dynamic. I applied for some of the bigger firms, and after getting through the 3rd or 4th round of interviews, I was yet to actually speak to a person. And so I thought, you know what, that's probably not for me, and was glad I got knocked back at that stage. The interview stage was recording yourself on a screen, and then you sent off the recording. So I went, you know what, let's go for a small startup where I'm actually treated like a person, and thus Aginic. So because I've recently moved from academia to industry, I thought I'd give you a couple of tips about kind of what I've learnt in this first year of transition. The first thing, lots of people say, oh, soft skills. You've got to have your, transferable skills. You've got competing deadlines in uni, project management. I want to emphasize that you're actually learning something here at uni. You've spent 3 years in a classroom focusing on a technical skill. Use that skill. Be passionate about it. Show it off. So, for example, I recently worked with a health client. We're analysing about 70 million rows of pathology data over 2 years. And in our final presentation, I was able to speak with knowledge and confidence about this pathology data because I'd spent far too many late nights performing electrophysiology experiments on cells, applying drugs to them. So when it came time to, hey, what do these tests mean that we've aggregated all this data for? How do we get better patient outcomes? How are the clinicians going to interpret this data? I could speak with confidence to that because I had that technical knowledge, because I'd taken that actual knowledge from the degree and applied it. So when you're hearing all this stuff about soft skills, don't dismiss the fact that you've had a focused education in an area. Find somewhere where you can apply that. Yes, I'm in a data analytics consultancy, but their 2 main clients are health and education. I tutored education for a number of years here, and I also did biophysics. So those deep technical knowledge, as well as those transferable skills like your statistics and coding, put me in good stead. Second thing, doesn't matter if you're in academia or industry, the whole world runs on coffee. No one I've met yet, if you say, hey, do you want to go grab a quick coffee, my shout, will say, no, I'm not interested. Every person that you talk to wants to, go and have a coffee. And part of that is you need to be able to have a conversation with someone face to face. Like those big firms, I never got to talk to anyone, I never got to show myself off. The moment I was able to stand in front of someone and say, hey, this is who I am, this is what I can bring to you, this is where those conversations are, I got the first job that I applied for. So please practice those conversation skills. Don't be afraid to go and grab a coffee with someone, or come up and talk to us afterwards and have a coffee with us. And as a last little plug, we've got our open day on October 18th at our Waterloo offices, and we are a young company. That's our founding director doing the somersault into the middle there. So if you want a fun place, come and work for us and talk to us. Thank you.